Hey guys, I made a clay Saturn dish and origami stars, and here's what I did. First I folded a sheet of paper into fourths. Then I cut out an arc to form a narrow oval. I made a smaller arc in it to form a ring. I also made a circle. I taped them together to create my template. And used air hardening modeling clay to make my dish. I formed a ball, then flattened it. I cut out my shape using an x-acto. I placed the clay onto a sheet protector so it could be easily removed. Next I rolled a coil for the base. Then I went over the dish with a damp paper towel. I made score marks at the ends with a feather wire brush and wet them with a damp paper towel. I added a bit of wet clay before connecting the ends. I scored one side of the coil, as well as a circle around the bottom of the dish, then connected them. I blended the sides of the coil with the dish. I lightly pressed down on the coil to level it, then set it aside to dry. Every once in a while, I turned the dish over to balance out the drying process. After it dried, I painted it using the colors goldenrod, coral, creamsicle, and white. The paint already had a satin finish, so I didn't go over it with a clear coat of gloss or protective finish. And here's how it turned out. For the origami stars, I used colored printer paper. I cut them into half-inch strips. Make a knot near one end. Then fold over the shorter end. If it seems too long, just cut it. Fold over the longer end in the direction that it leads you. When you reach the end, tuck it under the 2 layers of paper. With your fingernail, press the midpoints of all 5 sides. The bigger stars were made with 3/4 of an inch strips. And here's how my clay Saturn dish and origami stars turned out.